classic Dungeons and Dragons monster, the
Stop recording.
Beholder. The design of the Caco Demon, however, comes from another Dungeons and Dragons monster, the Astral Dreadnought. The Doom series has a lot more hidden secrets and Easter eggs. In early versions of the map Command Control, players can find a room containing a Nazi swastika symbol on the ceiling and floor. This was intended as a reference to Wolfenstein 3D, but it was later removed because of controversy. Wolfenstein was referenced again in Doom 2 as a secret map that can be accessed in level 15. This secret map was based on floors 1 and 9 from Escape from Castle Wolfenstein, and even includes Nazi soldiers from Wolfenstein as enemies. Another secret map in Doom 2 contains these same Nazi soldiers as enemies, but it also includes a reference to id Software's Commander Keen series. The names of the levels in various Doom iterations have interesting origins. The first episode of the original Doom, Knee Deep in the Dead, was one of the few titles from the Doom Bible that survived the overhaul. The fourth and final episode of Ultimate Doom, called Thy Flesh Consumed, gets its name from a passage in the King James translation of the Bible. Proverbs 5:11 reads, "And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed." In fact, most levels in Thy Flesh Consumed also get their names from Bible passages. The 21st level in Doom 2 is called Nirvana, and a shotgun can be found in the first sector of this level. This is possibly a reference to the band Nirvana, whose lead singer Kurt Cobain died from a self-inflicted shotgun blast the same year Doom 2 was released. This wouldn't be the only example of a reference to a popular rock band in the Doom series. The first level of Thy Flesh Consumed, Hell Beneath, contains a hidden room with a logo for the band 9 Inch Nails. The soundtrack for Doom 2 contains a wide range of musical inspirations from other popular rock and heavy metal artists. A track titled Bye Bye American Pie contains a sample of the song Them Bones by Alice in Chains. The track Sean's Got the Shotgun features a drum beat lifted from the song South of Heaven by Slayer. The track Into Sandy's City uses a slower take of the opening melody from the song Sex Type Thing by Stone Temple Pilots. And the track The Demon's Dead uses the opening melody of After All the Dead by Black Sabbath. During development of Doom 3, id Software scattered in a few references to the original Doom. At any point during gameplay, if the player enters a cheat code from the original Doom, a message will display stating, "Your memory serves you well." At the beginning of the game, the player can access a communal area where there's an arcade machine named Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3! The fictional arcade game contains graphics from Doom and a logo inspired by Street Fighter Alpha 3. On the Mars base, a magazine can be found called Game Hog. The cover depicts the face of Doom Guy with a shocked expression. This is a reference to a status bar face in Doom 1 that would rarely make an appearance due to a bug in the game. And finally, the light patterns of the pentagrams in Hell contain a few hidden details. The first is a logo for the Union Aerospace Corporation, and the second is the face of Doom Guy in the lower left quadrant. That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to Did You Know Gaming and follow Did You Know Gaming on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you also check out didyouknowgaming.com, and if you like this video, please check out our other videos. My name is Markiplier, narrating this on behalf of Did You Know Gaming. You can find my channel where I play a wide assortment of various games through the link in the description or through the annotation. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Bye-bye.
Did you know? Guitar Hero was directly inspired by a Japanese arcade game called Guitar Freaks. It was part of the Bemani series by Konami, which began with 1997's Beatmania. Guitar Freaks had similar gameplay to Beatmania, but utilized a guitar-shaped controller and a more rock and roll-based soundtrack. Harmonix, the developers of Guitar Hero, were not actually the ones inspired by Guitar Freaks. The ones inspired were hardware manufacturers Red Octane, who previously made dance pads for Dance Dance Revolution. The company was aware of Guitar Freaks and knew they'd be able to make a comparable guitar controller. Red Octane wasn't a game developer, however, so they proposed a collaboration with music games developer Harmonix. Guitar Hero was the result of their partnership. The gameplay and presentation of Guitar Hero was an evolution of two previous Harmonix games, Frequency and Karaoke Revolution. Neither Frequency nor its sequel, Amplitude, sold well despite being critically acclaimed and backed by Sony. This was partially because the games were too difficult to explain to new players. Sony conducted a focus group test on Amplitude where they described the game with pictures and bullet points, then asked the group what they thought. The pre-play quote-unquote interest score was the lowest of any game Sony had ever tested. But after letting the testers actually play the game, the post-play intent to purchase score was higher than any game Sony had ever tested. Sony told Harmonix, "We can't market this game. No one wants to buy it unless they've played it." Karaoke Revolution, on the other hand, was a commercial success, in part because it was very easy to understand. In an interview from the book, Inside Game Design, Guitar Hero lead designer Rob Kay stated, "One of the things we learned from Frequency and Amplitude was that people don't necessarily relate to really abstract visuals. They don't always understand how they apply to them." Unlike Frequency, which had an abstract psychedelic background, Karaoke Revolution had animated singers and dancers in the background. This concept was carried over to Guitar Hero, even though the core gameplay was more similar to Frequency and Amplitude. Interestingly enough, before striking a publishing deal with Sony, Harmonix approached Microsoft with the concept of Frequency. Then Vice President of Microsoft, Ed Fries, told Harmonix co-founder Alex Rogopoulos that no one would buy a rhythm game without a special piece of hardware attached to it, which is exactly what ended up happening with Guitar Hero. Later, Ed Fries expressed regret in not signing a deal with Harmonix because of how successful the studio became. Microsoft isn't the only company that regrets not staying in business with Harmonix. Accessories manufacturer Mad Catz had a contract to make an Xbox guitar controller for the first Guitar Hero. Around that time, Harmonix and Red Octane were sued by Konami for patent infringement of Guitar Freaks. Mad Catz were worried about the lawsuit, so they actually paid $300,000 to back out of the contract. But the lawsuit didn't end up damaging Guitar Hero. Mad Catz CEO Darren Richardson told Kotaku, "Everyone else made hundreds of millions and we paid money not to be a part of it. It was brilliant. I come up with these strokes of genius from time to time. That was my best." This is also the reason why the first Guitar Hero was never released on a Microsoft console. The Guitar Hero version of Jordan by Buckethead was the first studio recording of the song ever. Buckethead had only played the song at live events prior to Guitar Hero. In fact, the track didn't even have a name before it was recorded. After sending the song to Harmonix, Buckethead thought it was the best thing he'd ever recorded in his entire life. It was named Jordan as an homage to sports icon Michael Jordan, as Buckethead is a huge fan of basketball. Most tracks in Guitar Hero 1 and 2 are cover songs created by in-house musicians, but many fans prefer the original studio recordings. In an interview with Guitar World, Harmonix guitarist Mark Henderson responded to the critics by pointing out that the use of covers was a stylistic choice.
Show capture device stop recording.